Avast there. It be too late to alter course, mateys, and there be plundering pirates lurking in every cove, waiting to board. Sit closer together and keep your ruddy hands inboard. That be the best way to repel boarders. And mark well me words, mateys. Dead men tell no tales.
Ahoy there, mateys. Welcome to episode number 2 of Inside the Toy Box. We're happy to have you here. This is Inside the Toy Box. We are a Disney Infinity Network TV program. Great entertainment and everything you want to know about Disney Infinity. Also, partnership with Disney Infinity Fans. That's my home. Just want you to come check out DisneyInfinityFans.com. It's a great community, place for you to talk Disney Infinity TV and meet all your Disney Infinity geek needs. We got contests, we got giveaways, we got play with your friends, make new friends online, and trade your power discs. So definitely come check us out there. Also a great community if you want to learn about Toy Box and Toy Box artists. We've got 41 current Toy Box artists now, so definitely check us out.
And you're also giving a couple Marvel figures away right now, right?
Yeah, currently we have a contest to get a Iron Fist figure and a separate one to get Hawkeye, which is very cool because the game's not even out yet, and you have an opportunity to get it before the game comes out. So definitely check us out. That voice you heard was Mr. Kelley. He is my co-host on this adventure this evening, and he is, of course, the host of Inside Disney Infinity podcast and also a moderator on Disney Infinity Fans. So, Will, thanks for coming aboard.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be back, and the best part is my perspective slightly changed this time around. So hopefully I can add a little bit more to the topics this time.
Oh, absolutely! We can't wait to hear that later on the show. We got a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about. Let's just go again. Well, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about. Let's just talk about it. So first off, we're going to do They announce like they do every first week of the month. They talk about what the current challenges are for the month. Give you a preview in case you want to get a head start on some people. So we got the July challenge preview, and the first one that's coming up is the obstacle course challenge, which sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of people, you can just throw down a bunch of obstacles and give it a good theme, and I think that's a great contest. That submissions are July 3rd through July 9th. The next one we have is the Snow White Challenge from July 10th to July 16th is when you could submit for that one. I can't wait to see. Snow White. I think there's only 4 toys devoted to Snow White so far in Disney Infinity. It's mostly townspeople. So we can't wait to see what people come up with. Hopefully, we get somebody to recreate the new Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or recreation of the original Snow White Scary Adventure. I would love to see that.
That would be so cool.
I love seeing some park-related toy boxes. Next up, we got the Toy Story sequel challenge. So we had a Toy Story challenge back in October when Toy Story in Space came out. So this is kind of the sequel to that, and gives people more opportunities to make Toy Story boxes, which are pretty popular. So I know a lot of people are happy about that one. Submissions are due July 17th through the 23rd.
A question I had about that one, I'd actually seen someone ask JV, tweeted to him. So is this a sequel to the first challenge, or is it like a sequel in stories?
It's kind of open-ended. The possibilities are infinite, they like to say. I think they called the Frozen one the Frozen Challenge when they did a second set of 5. So who knows? Just make it Toy Story related. I think you'll fit in their guidelines. Just make it pretty awesome, and you'll be good. The next one is also kind of open-ended. It's called Olaf's in Summer Challenge. So we don't know if it's based on Olaf or if it's just all things summer, or who knows. But pretty much put Olaf in your box, and you'll have a good theme in there. So that one's July 24th to July 30th. And the last one, which seems to be the most popular as far as discussions goes on the forum, and that is the Up Challenge, which is another Pixar challenge. That's July 31st to August 6th is for submissions for that one. So it seems like a good bunch of challenges they announced. Are any of those challenges piquing your interest, Will?
Well, yeah, of course it was going to be the up one, but it sounds like the competition's pretty stiff there, and I'm not quite confident enough to compete against the big boys, so big boys and girls. So I might have to throw my hat in the ring for a Toy Story challenge because that would be a fun one too. So I don't know, either up or Toy Story. I have a interesting idea. I was talking with you today. I came up with a great movie mashup that is up and something else, and you're like, oh well, why don't you do that for the up challenge? So. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up being up. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you should go. I think you should go with that. We can talk about that when we get closer to the up challenge. But from this list, I think I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring for the obstacle one and the up. And based on what they say about the Olaf challenge, I didn't do one for the past two previous Frozen challenges, so might need to get an Olaf one in there. So that's the weekly challenges. Always a fun batch there. Next, we're going to talk about is the very exciting Toy Box Summit, which that little bomb was dropped on us late June, and we first found out about the Toy Box. And I know my ears ever since I heard that, I'm like, oh man, would that be cool if I got to go to that? So good news I have to share was that I received an invitation via email to get to go to this summit. So I'm going to be representing the forums and Disney Infinity TV, and definitely it's going to be a great experience. I can't believe all that hard work and effort I put in these toy boxes amounted to this. I think it's great that they're doing this for their fans, and I couldn't be more excited.
That's so cool. I mean, the fact that like you were just doing this because you love the game and you like seeing your name in lights and a challenge to maybe win something, and you actually are getting a trip out there, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I remember just a few weeks back, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we got like a certificate every time we won, and we can have like a portfolio of certificates, and we can look at it. But now it's like, hey, you want to go to Utah and hang out with all your friends? Because a lot of other forum members that I'm friends with also received invites. So it's gonna be fun to get to meet some people that I've played their toy boxes, they played mine, and a little camaraderie and share of ideas. I think it's gonna be a fantastic experience. I honestly can't stop thinking about it actually, and I can't wait to hear more information on it because it is gonna be a great time, and I can't wait to share stories from that experience because there's gonna be stories, I'm sure.
Well, it's so cool because this is going to be the first time you've got to meet a lot of the people that you've had lots of conversations and collaboration with on the forums.
Absolutely, yeah. And we don't know how many exactly are going. It seems like it's a small group. JV said that the first round of invitations have gone out, so we don't know how many rounds or if it's just to see who RSVP'd from that first round, to see how many more people they need to invite. But we hopefully will be finding out more information. We do know that there's also an opportunity for you, if you didn't receive the invitation, to win yourself this trip, and that's by doing the Magic Movie contest that they have. It's basically create, and I can't say basically because you're gonna have to work for this one. You need to create your favorite movie as a toy box and film it and using their video capture, and they give you audio files and things to make your video, and they're going to vote on them, and the top 3 will get a chance to hang out with all these toy box artists at the summit and become one of us, as well as if you don't win that, you have an opportunity to win a cool Captain America figure before everybody else gets it. Yeah. So they're giving away 10 of those as like a second place or first place as well. Like the grand prize would be if you got to go to the summit. So do you feel like you might try that out, Will?
Yeah, I'd come up with a couple ideas. I feel like because that deadline is pretty quick. I think it's the 27th of July, so it's at the end of this month, I think. And so I kind of feel like if I'm going to do that, I might have to either put my focus on that or the Toy Box Challenge. But yeah, I am not an accomplished Toy Box artist, so I did not get an invite. So yeah, I might throw my hat in that ring too. But either way, for whoever does do that, it's kind of cool. I like what they're doing because you still have to earn your place you have to earn your ticket out there. It's not just being given away, but if you make it and you make a good video, then you might win yourself a spot. If you do it though, make sure you read all of the rules because they're pretty specific on certain things. So you get like a media kit that you can download, which gives you photos and audio, and then everything else has to be in the toy box. So if you have ideas of making a song or something like that, just be careful because it does specifically say only audio included with that media kit is allowed. So I don't know how strict they're going to be on those rules, but you know what? If you spend a whole lot of time on making a video and an entrance, then I'd hate for you to lose out by a technicality accidentally. So.
That's definitely a great point. The instructions and the rules for that is very lengthy, so definitely check that out before you get started on your challenge. So Will, you saw we had our first episode, our first official episode, and we had Papa Echo on there, now Avalanche employee, and we gave some tips, and that kind of inspired you to do a toy box for a challenge. Do you feel like you've learned from doing that first challenge submission?
Yeah, it's interesting because I got the only reason I submitted a challenge was based on episode 1 with Papa Echo. Listening to you guys talk about the iPad app and how useful it could be, and I've been playing because that's the only system I've had for months and months and months. I've been playing on the iPad a lot, but I've never really given it a lot of thought on how useful creating on it could be. And so I'm like, well, both these guys talked about on episode 1. I'm gonna see what I can do. And yeah, I made a toy box and I gave it my best shot. We'll see what happens. But the iPad, in a lot of ways, I think it did make it a lot easier, and it's definitely a very capable device. That's for sure. So I
And
can't.
you were on vacation, so it was perfect for you. Like that, you had a lot of travel time, and you're just sitting there on the beach, and you can easily build your toy box. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it's so true. Like we just finished an Inside Infinity podcast, and you were talking about how like you're driving to work some days, and like you see something, you're like, how could I make that in the toy box? Like I got so invested in this toy box, and I started building on the plane. I was building in bed. I literally was at the beach playing with my iPad under this huge umbrella, making a toy box. It kind of worked out because I parts of mine were beach themed, so I just felt like it was getting in the spirit. But yeah, it was great for that, and it really. I bought a brand new iPad game before I left on that trip, which was dumb because I played on the iPad for the entire trip, so it was awesome.
Well, thanks for sharing that story. Wish you luck, and we'll find out this week if your movie mashup toy box gets selected. Good luck to you on that.
Thank you. Excited. I know what you mean though. It's like now I just have to wait on bated breath, be like, oh, where are they gonna announce it? Where are they gonna announce it? So at least the week is finally here.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like the Oscars. That Wednesday night, you wait and see if your toy box gets featured.
That's funny.
It's funny. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to our tips and tricks. So we're going to be talking about the Wally Challenge later on the show, and I got to tell you, one of my pet peeves in playing in feature toy boxes is seeing a creativitoy just sitting there, or maybe just falling off and seeing a creativitoy kind of hidden but not really. So I'm going to give you some. It's kind of like being caught in your underwear, as I like to describe it. But I'm going to give you some tips on how you can be more organized with your creativitoys and maybe hide them a little better. So I'm going to share some pictures. One of the things I like to do, and I've been doing this in my past few toy boxes, is I like to have a control box that I store all of my creativitoys in. And I mean, it's just a square box. I'll put all my toys in there that are hidden, and put a wall on each side and a wall under it. It's cool because everything's there if I need it. I don't forget about any toys that might be seen. And also, if somebody else wanted to say, hey, how did Pirate Steven do that? If they found this little control box, they can see all my toys right there.
So do you hide it underneath someplace, or like is it behind terrain, or how do you hide it once you have it collected?
Let me show you. This is, and let me know if you can see that.
All right. Yep.
So this is my Wally toy box, and you can see there's this big block art Wally, and right under it is that orange box. So all of my creativitoys are stored in that box. So they're not like, you can't really see what's in there, or they're not just hanging out. If we go on to the next, can you see that screen now too?
Yeah.
So there's the box.
That's cool.
So they're all the creativitoys are there. You could, if you fell off the side, you would just see this box. And if we go to the next one, you can kind of see it like inside what would be in that box.
That's brilliant. So
little action triggers. There's the horn. There's like the timer delay and action button. So everything's just sitting in there, not in plain sight that anybody could see it.
And so you just leave it open until you're done, and then you just close it up.
Yep. Then you just close it up, and this way, if you need to go back, you know where all your actions are, and you can kind of organize them. The way I have them organized on the screen we're looking at is there. I had different areas, 5 different areas, so I would make a row for each area of creativitoys. So definitely a good way to organize and hide your stuff, so that you don't get embarrassed when somebody sees your toys laying out all over the place.
Definitely a lesson learned for me. So what I knew to kind of hide toys, and so I would hide them. But then depending on where I was at in the actual location of my toy box, I'd be like, I just want to change the sky, and I'm lazy. I don't want to go all the way back, and so I'd just drop a sky changer. And then I went back and I was doing some quality control testing right before I submit, and I kept running into these random creativitoys that I had placed all over the toy box when I was building, and so this collecting in one single spot is brilliant. I like that a lot, because one thing I started to do is like I would hide them in like the trigger locations, but that wasn't always easy for me to find and to adjust. So I really dig this collection in a box idea.
Yeah, the control box, I call it. So definitely, like I said, hide your toys, because it gives a more polished and professional look to it.
Do you hide your toys and hide your wife?
It's true. Yeah, and you don't want to step on it. It's like a Lego. You don't want to step on a Lego when you're rocking around your toy box. So,
amen to that.
So, because it hurts when you step on those Lego. So this week we're going to talk about the Wally toy box challenge.
Eva.
Yeah, I submitted a toy box for this challenge. So we'll get to my toy box later. So we'll talk about some of the other featured toy boxes first. So the first one we're going to talk about was called Plants, with an exclamation point on the end. And that was done by forum member, Disney Infinity Fan forum member, Infinity Fan. And he was very happy about this because this was his first place featured toy box, his third toy box overall. And the basis of this one was, it was just a crazy obstacle course that was Wally themed. And the cool thing about this Wally challenge was they had those Wally sky disc and terrain disc that they wanted people to use. And people could go really different ways with this challenge. You could have used those discs, or you could have done it in space. But all the ones that got featured used those discs, or not a space theme. So it's cool that you get an actual use out of these discs. So he did a crazy obstacle course challenge, and he had some nice Wally and Eve block art. So congratulations to him on his first place finish. So we'll skip the guy that got second place. That was me. All right, so third place for the Wally challenge, we had a longtime Inside Infinity podcast listener and Disney Infinity fan member. Goes by the name of Elmo, and he's from the UK. And he did the Axiom race. Axiom would be the name of the cruise ship in Wally. And he didn't build the whole entire cruise ship because that's kind of crazy, but he did a lot of the interiors, which was really cool. And he kind of had the townspeople trapped in like little hologram. It's fun to trap the townspeople because they just want to do whatever they want. So he had the hologram room, and did a really good job with that. And this was his first toy box submission, and to get third place, that's very honorable. So congratulations to him. He tried to recreate scenes as closely as possible to the movie, and he did some great block art. This is his Wally and Eve block art that you see at the end of his thing. So that's really cool. Infinity Fan had similar block art on his. So Elmo, congratulations. Proud of you for getting your first featured toy box.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Another one we're going to talk about is for fifth place. Define Racing was done by Barry Bomber. Also goes by the name of Kevin Barry. Define Racing I thought was a cool name because it's kind of like when Eve would ask what your directive was, or it goes along with the Wally dialogue. So that was a cool name. And the premise of this one was it was uniquely themed because it was what Metropolis, the Incredibles land, looks like in Wally's time. And it had a race involved around that. So good brainstorming on that one, Kevin. You did a good job. And that was Kevin's sixth featured toy box. So he is definitely another well-established toy box artist. And finally, my featured toy box luckily pulled off a second place finish. Worked really hard on this one. This is one we were talking about the July challenges earlier. Mm-hmm. When they announced the June challenges, this is the one that I circled on there because I wanted to make sure I did at least one challenge a month just to stay fresh. And the Wally one was the one I wanted to do because I'm a big fan of the movie and the characters. I love them. I think they're great. So I created a toy box called Out There. And Out There is actually the first lines you'll hear in the movie. It's one of the songs. So that's the inside. Let me give you a lot of inside the toy box details because I put a lot of hidden things in this one.
That's awesome.
So that's where the name Out There came from. And with my toy box, it starts off, you see and I like to include block art in my toy boxes. I think it's a great way to get characters in the game that you don't already have. So I created a huge Wally block art, and I made it so that the Wally is actually the floor, because if I would have put Wally standing up, he would look really odd with a bunch of terrain and just this huge Wally block art. So I made him the floor, which is kind of different. And if you click on a trigger button, it shows you what the floor looks like. And then all of these Omni droids just comes and finds you and starts attacking you. And you have to find the premise of the game is you need to find 5 of the plant specimens and then go return to the cruise ship to go party because they're happy to be back on Earth. So that is Wally. So after you get to that, it's kind of like, and I kind of made it in different scenes. So that was scene 1. And then you get to scene 2.
Let me ask you this: how high was your meter from that block art?
Yeah, block art is a meter killer, because I'll create, like, if I create one outstanding block art, it's almost half of the meter.
Wow.
And you figure out how much more you want to do in that box. So after I got through Wally, I had to think of what my next step was. I knew I wanted to include Eve, and I had to have a cruise ship at the end. So the next step I had to move on was creating Eve, which is what I would call scene 2. You get to take a teleporter to the next level up in the air, where you see this Eve block art, and there's like a racetrack around Eve to get to the cruise ship. Because when I got to the top there, I had to think of a way to get to the cruise ship. So I thought the easiest way to do that was to create a racetrack with different obstacles around it. So your racetrack pretty much has the basic hammers going by, and there's a couple of areas where you have to find the plant, and then I would have Zergbots and Omnidroids come attack you. And then one thing I learned on this toy box that I hadn't done in previous was a good way to save space is to, once you get to a different area and you have enemies that you generate, is to use a trigger area that would automatically go back to those enemy generators and remove all. So that way, if somebody who is just going through your toy box really quick and generating all these enemies but not taking care of them, it's eating up that space. So you can get to a red toy box meter and not generate anything or have anything else happen after that. So, but if you continuously remove things that aren't supposed to be there anymore because people are supposed to take care of them, you save space and you make sure that the toy box experience is complete. Because I know another thing you'll learn, Will, if you get a featured toy box, is you'll get obsessed and check YouTube for the different It's cool to see a walkthrough or of a review of your toy box. And I know the first one I watched for this particular one, the person just went really fast through it, and so every single enemy was generated. But I made sure that as they were going through it, they weren't missing anything because the enemies would eventually get removed. So that's another tip. And just to go back on the block arts, because we were talking about that earlier and how much space they take up, the single block takes up the exact same amount of space as a triple block, the horizontal and vertical ones. So you're going to want to use as many horizontal and vertical triple blocks as you can, because if you use all the single blocks, it's just going to be, that's going to be your whole box is just be one giant block art that you have to maneuver around. So definitely save space where you can, because block art definitely is a space eater. So you go through the racetrack. And we were talking about it earlier, add in hidden details. That's kind of like, I kind of get that from Imagineer. And Imagineers, when they build a ride, they like to put different tributes to different things in there. So luckily, at the end of my racetrack, I had a junkyard area, because the Earthlings junked up the Earth, and that's why this movie was made, because everybody went into space and Wally had to clean it all up. So I made a little junkyard with a couple of tributes. So I'm just going to go over some of those now, just give you some inside details here. So the first one, as you go into the junkyard, you'll see a Pixar lamp. And I put that in there because, yes, this is a Pixar movie, but another longtime Inside Infinity podcast listener and Disney Infinity fan fan forum member is the Pixar post. So and TJ was really excited about the Wally challenge, so made sure to put a little nod to Pixar post in there.
That's awesome.
This challenge, so I know he'll be excited to hear that. And I added more stuff to that kind of like Earth Graveyard. If you go through there, you might notice there's a Sheriff Woody boot with a snake coming out of it. So that's a nod out to our very own Disney Infinity fan forum admin of Sheriff Woody and the forums there. And then what else could I possibly pay tribute to? But this is a TV to represent Disney Infinity TV.
That's awesome.
that you might notice in the junkyard.
Thank you for
And
that.
then another thing I like to do was there's a tree right in the middle there, and it looks so attainable. So you walk up to go touch the button to get credit for that tree, and there is one of my favorite toys in there, just as a prank, because I'm a prankster, is a manhole that just shoots you up in the air and far away from where you want to go. So just as a funny joke for me, ha ha ha, Pirate Steven got you, I put one of these manholes on the Wally Tracks racetrack, and you can't even see it. It's hidden. So people walk over it all the time, and it flings you in the air, and you fall flat on your face right in front of a pirate flag, which is kind of like, haha, Pirate Steven got you. I thought it was funny. I laughed when I did it. But there you can see the pirate flag.
That's hilarious.
So it's fun as a toy box artist to be able to put some of yourself into the game. Last but not least, I put a hidden Mickey in there. I found 3 little lumps that I can put in there. And you can't tell from when you're going straight on at it, but that's what that's supposed to be, is Mickey's head.
There's always got to be hidden Mickeys, right?
Yeah, you got to. He's the boss. And another reason, I not only love this movie, but another reason why I wanted to build this one specifically is something that I really want to see in Disney Infinity is Disney Cruise Line artifacts and whatnot. So a clever little twist I put on my toy box is, instead of the Axiom ship, because I really didn't want to build that one, I substituted the Axiom ship for a Disney cruise liner that you can see here. So this is actually one of the Disney cruise line ships that plays the part of my cruise line ship in this toy box. So I was very happy to get that into Disney Infinity.
So cool.
So once you get your 5 plants, or the 5th plant is actually in the back. I don't want to spoiler alert, but the 5th plant is actually on the back of this cruise ship. So once you get that, you get to see fireworks that pop up behind the cruise ship, which is kind of cool because Disney is one of the only cruise lines that can shoot off fireworks from their top deck. So another nod to Disney Cruise Line, but it was a lot of fun to be able to add all those extra special features to this box. I was glad I had room in it to do.
You had so much block art, and that's crazy, and then everything else you had in there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm happy with the 2nd place, and I'm glad it was featured because that was a lot of work to build that one and get it in on time. So thanks for anybody that downloads or plays that out there toy box. So that about wraps it up for this Wally challenge and for the show we have today. Will, do you have any
real
questions?
quick, Pirate? I don't know. Did you notice this, that your Wally was the one that was on the announcement of the toy boxes on the official site?
I did notice that, and thanks for bringing it up because I got some funny stories there, and I will tell funny stories. So, in the world of toy box artists, there's a couple of different accolades you can get. So there's the top 5 featured toy boxes, which is great, and there's the People's Champ, which I consider the People's Champ to be whoever gets the most YouTube views out of the 5 toy boxes.
For that specific week, then, right?
Yeah, for that specific week. And then the 3rd is see who can get their picture as the news picture on the website. So that's something with my block art that I try to strive to get on the news featured picture, and that's my Wally one's got it on there, as well as my Gravity Falls ones for the monster pranks, and the one I did for the air race, which was the planes. I had a big dusty block art. So yeah, so now you know what else is out there besides the featured toy box.
What are the accolades you can get as an artist?
Oh yeah, his bragging rights all over the internet. You just got to find them.
That's right.
So that's going to do it for our show. Thanks for tuning in this week. I love bringing this inside the toy box details to you. Thank you, Will, for being on the show again. Hopefully, we'll get you on some more times as you develop your skills. Because like you just did your first one, and I know when I did my first one, it looks a whole lot different than my 7th one. So you definitely pick up things every now and then as you do these challenges.
Well, I'm definitely inspired. Even after this show, once again, I'm like, all right, now I got to go out and start my next toy box, and I have some time to do it, so just got to get it started. And
you do. You need to start improving your stats so that when Toy Box Summit 2 comes out next year, you can have your toy box list in your portfolio.
Awesome.
So, thanks again for being on the show. I really appreciate it. This is not a weekly show, but I'm going to bring it to you as much as I can because, like I said, I enjoy doing it, and we'll get this content out to you as regularly as we can. Just for this show, I'm just going to say again, this is from the Disney Infinity Fans Forum and the Disney Infinity TV network of Superstar Podcasts and Entertainment. You're definitely going to want to become a forum member and subscribe to both Disney Infinity Fans YouTube channel and Disney Infinity TV because there's a lot of great content out there. And with Disney Infinity 2.0 coming out, we're going to get it all to you. And you don't want to miss out on it. Trust me, it's going to be good stuff. So, all right, thanks again. And as we say, the possibilities are infinite. So go out there and make some toy boxes. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.